Okay, boys, shall we get started? Is everybody here? Raise your hand if you're not here. Yeah, raise your hand if you're not here. Okay, please don't look at the tier list, guys. This is just a tier list that. So let's get started. First things first. Whenever we talk about changes, okay, no, let's start at the very beginning. So I was born in 1993 in Korsava. No, maybe that's too early. Okay, let's start at the beginning. Okay, guys, I'm going to talk about just get to the point. I'm going to talk about the last three patches that we've seen come in, and the last patch, which would be 7.18 for Worlds. That's going to be the Worlds patch, so that's literally all that's going to matter for the entire play-ins, the group stage, and the knockout. However, the most important thing to mention is that 7.17 was a small patch and also the only patch that won't be played competitive, and that most of the games that we've seen up till now, gauntlet runs, regional qualifiers, have all been played on 7.16. So that's basically where the jump is going to happen. What's going to change from 7.16 to 7.18? In order to know that, we're going to have to look at 16, look at the tier list that I have made with, I made it with Deficio, actually. We spoke about this. For 7.16 for the playoffs of the EU. So a lot of this is still going to be relevant. I can remove this and move it into the next patch. Oh shit, we got Keith in here. What up, Keith? Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at the tier list of 7.16 and 7.16 in general. So Caitlyn hit a nerf. So I'm just going to put this on the side so you guys can all see this while we go through. Come to Besiktas. Hey, Keith, what's up? You can join me if you want, Keith. But I guess you just want to be a Jew. Fucking Jews. How long can this go on? Okay. Caitlyn nerf. As we could see, Caitlyn became less of a priority. I think only a few teams are playing Caitlyn after the nerfs. I don't think she's very good. This is kind of why I put her in A-. I really wasn't sure if she would actually be this low, but I really think Caitlyn is just like really garbage tier right now. And the thing is, I actually think Kog'Maw and Twitch move up just because of Caitlyn's D.Va ability. Yeah, I think that's definitely a change. Caitlyn nerf was pretty big, and we saw no one was playing much Caitlyn. Fiora nerf. I mean, I'm fucking glad for this nerf. I hate Fiora. Kayn mid becomes completely useless. Do I have him as a jungler? I do. See, he's counter pick worthy. Maokai got a slight nerf. This is what made him less than the jungler. And no, actually, her laning is still good, and she's still a good laner, but her team fighting is awful. Like, almost every AD carry just outscales her now, which is kind of shit. Sion buffs don't really make much of a change to our tier list, and basically we're going to be using this tier list to determine like what's going to be good in the next patch. Vi buff is really not much, so not really much there. The on-hit interaction of the wards don't do much. Cassiopeia, okay, so yeah. Keith in D tier. Let's say Keith, man. Wait, I should definitely just put chat in chat on stream. Who wants to see chat on stream? So I'm gonna put chat on stream. That'll be fucking funny. There we go. Chat on stream. Say hi to the stream chat. Wave to the stream, boys. Wave to the stream. I should definitely put the notepad on stream as well. Let me just move this over here. Then add a window capture notepad. Just gonna move that there so you guys can see that as we look through the patch notes. There, look at this. Look at this production value, guys. You guys ain't seen shit like this before. Oh, wait, one sec. You guys can see the chat now. There we go. Okay. Okay, let me just move this around. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is kind of where the mid lane changes kind of start. Cassiopeia gets hit, but she doesn't actually get hit even the hardest. So she's actually relatively going to be okay. It's kind of why I had Cassio as tier S, and the reason that actually Cassio is good as a tier S champion is because I would actually be fine to blind pick Cassio, and you saw Fnatic H2K were pretty much blinding Cassiopeia because you can play her into Orianna and Syndra now if you go the Abyssal Mask build. And the reason Lucian's tier S is because Lucian actually gets priority in every single one of these matchups except Cassio. So that's why Cassio is above him. Corki nerf. He's a strong late game scaling champion, still super safe. Does fine into everything in tier A, but he does lose hard to champions in tier S right now. Yeah, Cassio was a super contested pick, and she did well in like almost all her games. So I'm not surprised to see. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone that I put her on tier S. Fizz change doesn't really do much. I think only as a counter pick. I don't even have him on the list. Galio nerf is quite substantial, but he's still a great priority mid laner. He gets a lot of push power. He gets outscaled kind of because he's just a tank. But there's still situations where Galio's really strong. LeBlanc gets her wave clear nerf. She's still really great if you play around her with a jungler. Still tier A, not blind worthy though, because there are certain subjects. Yeah, I only put Corki on B tier because he's a slow champion. I would actually put Warwick on B tier, or even low A. We're talking about. Let's just keep going with it. Orianna got a nerf to her laning phase, and a little bit to her shield. The QW trading is a lot weaker now, which is kind of why she went down. Syndra 2 kind of went down in priority because of this. Which is why they're now A tier, whereas before I would have had Orianna and Syndra as B tier. Not B tier, S tier. Where's Wukong in the dumpster? Talia taking this nerf is actually really big. Now, at 7:16, when this nerf happened, this was really big because Talia was basically being able to be blinded, and she was still super strong because of that, because she could avoid lane matchups just by pushing. And like pushing is so underrated by a lot of the community because they don't understand that when you push, the enemy mid laner or just the enemy laner in general now has to deal with one of two things, either you or the wave. And you put them in a situation where they have to choose. And generally speaking, you're not going to want to give up a wave on the turret. You're not going to want to fight when you don't have a wave. So Talia was able to get out of laning phase unscathed. Victor's okay into Cassio, but the thing is that he doesn't get priority in the matchup. He just is good in team fights. Kind of like a weaker Orianna, if that makes sense. Coin nerf doesn't change shit. Cinderhawk nerf doesn't change shit. Okay. So, 7:17 is a pretty useless patch. The only big thing is a Leona buff and an Ezreal buff, which I talked about on my 7:17 video. If you guys want to check that out. Advertisement. But this is the big thing just for Ezreal jungle, is what makes Warrior Ezreal jungle so strong. Let's go 7:18 and start looking at the changes. Alright, so first off, Azir. Now, Azir got buffs. I don't think it was in 7:16. They got it on 7:15 to his soldiers. His laning is still kind of weak early, but this is a decent buff to his late game damage. So he's getting 150 extra damage on a rank 3 ultimate. So late game Shurima shuffles are going to do a lot more damage. I mean, he's actually totally fine into Orianna. You could probably play him into Corki. I wonder how he is against Galio, actually. But yeah, so Orianna, Galio, and Corki are doable matchups. Whereas Leona on my tier list, if I were to add her, I'd definitely put her on B, like super low B, because I would only play her as like a counter to Lulu or to like range supports that aren't Janna. As like an all-in champion, but like, for every situation that Leona's good, Rakan and Alistar are just better. Does that make sense? So she stays quite low. Azir, I don't have on my tier list currently, but if I had to say he's C tier, which would definitely just be strictly counter pick, I could see him being played into Orianna, into Corki, and, you know, in some situations, maybe Cassio. So yeah, also, by the way, I think Ahri's decent. I'll just put her on B as well. Next, Cassio change. Her base damages are going down quite significantly, as you can see. At rank 9, she's losing 25 damage, but she's getting a 0.1 ability power buff. I don't need to do the math to show you that this is a nerf at all stages of the game. So Cassio's early trading is going to go down. It's probably going to make her slightly less of a priority pick. How much less, I'm not sure. I would definitely want to bring her down to tier A at the least. And what this means is that if Cassio goes down in priority, she's still probably going to be decent into Lucian. Or maybe not. Maybe Lucian's actually just going to be the best mid on the meta because of this buff. Who knows? So Cassio going down, I think... Yeah, it's a nerf at all stages of the game. After 250 AP, it's equal. It's equal. So yeah. Okay, maybe I should rephrase what I said. It's a nerf during all stages of the early game, of the laning phase, which is kind of what this tier list is about. It's about lane priority and stuff like that. So Cassio's going to be quite weak early, and the fact is you actually don't build much AP if you're going the Abyssal Mask build, which Cassio wants to do. Cassio wants to build ability power. It's still going to be good into Lucian because you go Roa, but if you're going against Orianna and against Syndra, you're not going to build much AP, so you're actually losing damage, and Abyssal Mask is the main build. So it is a nerf, because you're going Abyssal Mask. And how long is it going to take for you to get 250 AP? Let's see, Morello's 100, with runes and masteries, you've got maybe 140, 150, playing it safe. It's going to be a while until you actually get 250 AP on Cassio, if you go Abyssal Mask. Again, this is if you go Abyssal Mask. So that's why I'm going to take Cassio down a notch. Still going to be stronger late, like 6-item Cassio's going to be stronger, but by that point, like almost all mids are strong and equally strong, so it doesn't really matter. Elise loses volatile spiderling damage. You lose 5 but gain up 0.15 AP. So let's actually pull out the calculator here. So most Elise stages are running 26 ability power. So times 0.95, you're getting 24.7 damage on top of 55. So plus 55, you're actually getting a bit more. You're getting 30, but let's just say 26 is like a good place to start. So you're getting 80 damage off a 55 damage base damage ability at level 1. This is for the Elise pages that actually do go 26 AP. Most pages do. Whereas before you got 60, which would go plus 26 times 0.8 plus 60. So it actually isn't even a nerf. Oh, sorry, I should move this out. So it actually isn't even a nerf. This is how much it was. This is how much it was before. This is how much it was before the nerf. Sorry, and this is how much it is after. Okay, so So it's 26 times 0.95 plus 55. As you can see, it's a 1 damage nerf at level 1, assuming you have 26 AP. And every point of AP that you get more is going to make it stronger. So this change is actually useless. You just go 26 AP. And most Elises want to go 26 AP anyway. So, like, this is pretty worthless of a change. The reason I have Elise as high priority is because teams like Longzhu, teams that prioritize early game, Elise is the best at it. No jungler in the game can currently contest Elise's early game. For dives, for pressure, like Elise Gnar, Elise Jarvan, Elise Jace, Elise Lucian. Lucian being a priority because means Elise is really good, so that's why I think Elise is still tier S. The repel change, I mean, you're not even maxing your E early. So it's level 1 until, like, level 14. And then Elise is a useless champion, so I mean these nerfs are useless. If you're going AP Elise, which is the 26 AP Elise, at level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, level 7, until level 8, you're not even noticing any change. It is, though, a 45 base damage nerf at max rank, which can kind of hurt since you're not going AP-heavy builds on Elise in competitive. But for the majority of the place where Elise is strong, she's still strong. So I think this change doesn't do much to Elise. She's anyway useless later in the game, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go. Fiora buffs. I don't really think this is a big of a buff. I think she's still kind of like a weird situation where she is. I don't even have her on my list. I'll put her C tier. Bramble Vest is too broken. She can't really do much. I mean, what do you guys think? I really don't think Fiora is going to be that much more powerful than she is right now because of this. I mean, 30 base health is nice. It's gonna make champions like Camille, like Cho, do better into Gnar in the all-ins, but he's still a disgusting champion. He's like the new Fiora, except he's good at team fighting. So I really think Gnar is still like god tier. I don't think this does much to change. He's still S tier. Okay, so Gragas loses 3 base armor. So Jarvan is good into Gragas already, and now it's even better because you're losing armor. And Body Slam hitbox went down. So all in all, this is a nerf to Gragas. I'm not sure how much. I haven't tested the hitbox of the E yet, but it's kind of bullshit because now Gragas gets a bit weaker. I still think he's going to be like a top tier jungler, perhaps on the very bottom though of tier A, where Sejuani and Jarvan are probably better. So I think this is pretty decent change. Gragas was kind of bullshit with his E hitbox, so I mean this change is accepted. I'll accept it. Ivern gets some buffs to his E, an AP ratio, and a base damage ratio. The damage was never too good, but I mean Athenes and Ardent are still kind of bullshit. So Ivern might actually be good. Just taking a look at the junglers you could probably play against. I could see it good. I could see it being good into like Sejuani maybe, or Jarvan maybe, but I think it really just depends on the team. Like if you're Unicorns with Love, you get priority lanes. Ivern's good, but for every situation, I think Ivern's good. Nunu might just be better because Mana Stone is good. Nunu builds super tank, so he can actually tank engages. I'll have to think more. I don't think this is gonna change Ivern, but it's a buff regardless. Jarvan gets a nerf to his W. This is a nerf across the board. He gets nerfed on the base damages and the scaling at later ranks. So the Jarvan was always really good early game in the jungle with Thunderlords. So this isn't going to nerf his early game. He's still going to be probably the second best early game jungler in the game next to Elise. But his late game is going to be significantly weaker in terms of his shield. Overall, it's a decent change. It's not going to change where Jarvan is on the in the list, in my opinion. I don't think it's going to change him on top lane because he's still going to be a really good priority top laner, gets a lot of push power, so he's going to be fine there. Kalista, our cooldown increased, and this is necessary. I mean, I think this is absolutely necessary. This is a significant nerf. This is enough to actually put Kalista into tier A. That's my opinion. She's still going to be a really strong early game pick. Yeah, I don't have Graves at all because Graves is a useless champion. I mean, yeah, I'll put him on tier C if you really want me to. I mean, then I'll put a Mumu as well. Well, how about tier bullshit? Let's put Jigglypuff. Yeah, Jigglypuff here. No, I don't know. Like, I think these are champions that aren't in the meta. They're not being played for a reason. They're not good. Yeah, this is a pretty nice change. Kallisto's kind of strong. She's still going to be really good at objective control, but this is going to make you, like, you know, still going to be fine. Anyway, Lee Sin. Buff to his W. I mean, okay, here's the question, and I will ask the chat for this. Do you guys think that this buff, a 15 shield buff at rank 1, is significant enough to Lee Sin's potential to push him up to tier B? Where he loses every matchup to every tank. He loses the matchup to like everything except Nidalee and maybe Ezreal. Currently right now. I don't see Lee Sin being boosted up in the tier list. I don't think this is enough of a change. It's a buff. A buff is a buff, but I don't think is it going to be enough to make Lee Sin a priority jungler? No. Are people still going to probably play Lee Sin? Yeah, Lee Sin players are still going to play Lee Sin, but almost like why would you play Lee when you can just play like Jarvan, Sejuani, Gragas, Rek'Sai, right? Anyway, let's move down. Lucian. E-nerf, pretty significant. Early ranks, so this breaks even at level 13. This is a nerf to Lucian and his trading power, but anyway, when you E in, it's for an all-in. Does it really change the way the champion works? It's still going to be really strong. Whether or not it stays S tier, I'm not sure. I think the entirety of mid lane is going to get revamped, and like I think that you can bump Lucian down to A tier. where it does good into every of the A tier matchups except Cassio. So like A tier now, I think all mid laners that were S tier now A tier. Like there is no clear S tier mid laner. Like maybe actually Syndra becomes S tier again because it's a 50-50 matchup with Lucian, and Cassio Abyssal Mask build still got nerfed actually. So it actually might be okay to have Syndra up there in S tier. It's probably, yeah, I think Syndra does go up to S because of that. I would say. Okay. Nautilus, so they changed his Q, made it stronger. This is going to make Nautilus maybe a better support. But I don't think we're going to see much of Nautilus. Maybe Jungle Nautilus. I mean, if I had to put it, I would put him right smack in the top tier level of tier C. And, like, top lane Nautilus is just worse than, like, almost any tank, I think, right now. I think Gragas is just better. So I just put him up there. I mean, where's Poppy in here? Poppy would be tier A. I think she's super broken. Situation. So yeah, Poppy actually could be a tier B jungler right now. She's actually an insane mid laner, tier S. Lucian can rush Hex Drinker into Leona. Into Syndra, but you're delaying your blade, so there's the trade-off. So yeah, I mean, it is whatever. Nidalee buff. Huh. Her E gets another AP ratio, so I actually think Nidalee is a viable pick into every single one of these these junglers right now. I mean, Ezreal is Nidalee on cocaine, though, so if Nidalee comes back, Ezreal will come back first. Like, Ezreal's the new Nidalee. Nidalee's like a bruiser, not a bruiser, like a dueling Ivern, in which you go Athenes, you go Ardent Censer, and you go Hourglass, and you're kind of like okay at everything, and you support your AD carry. I think she's still B tier, but we might see more Nidalee because of these AP buffs, or just in general. Ornn. There's a lot of changes for Ornn. You can only buy the upgrades at level 13. I mean, this champion was useless. I don't even have Ornn up here, so it's like tier Ornn. Ornn. Because I'm not really sure where Ornn goes. He's a pretty bullshit top laner to lane against. He's got ridiculously stupid trading. He's getting a buff on his R. I don't know if he's disabled for Worlds. We have to assume that he's not. So he actually got some buffs here. Ornn actually might be a decent top laner. I'd put him on the top of tier, maybe in the middle of tier B. And I actually don't know why I have Trundle so low. I think he's totally legitimate counter to a lot of top laners. So let's move him up there. Yeah, I think this is fine. Oh, he's disabled for Worlds? Okay, who gives a shit? Get out of here, Ornn. Unlucky. Alright, whatever, no one cares. Rakan. The hitbox went down. The cooldown at later ranks went down on his ult. And, okay, so if you guys don't understand what this change means, before the dash speed was based on your movement speed, but now he got a base buff and a scaling nerf. So early, let's do the calculations. Let's do the calculations. Here's my trusty the handy-dandy calculator. So you got 1,800 plus, what's Rakan's base move speed? Let's pull up the League of Legends wiki. Okay, League of Legends wiki. League of Legends wiki, let's find Rakan. Where are you at? Sejuani, Rise, Riven, Rakan. Okay. Oh shit, you guys can't see the chat anymore. There you are. Okay. Base move speed is 335. Okay. So he's got a base move speed of 335. So calculator up plus 335. This is his speed at level 1. Yeah, RW is still charming at max range. The collision detection is just a bit smaller, so I think you have to actually get on top of them. So this is his W speed at level 1 before, and here's what it is now. So 250. Okay, so 335 times 0.3. 100, so plus 2,100. So it's about the same. At like level 1, it's about the same. Later on, though, let's assume that you've got a move speed of like 410. I'm just throwing off the top of my head. All right. Okay, and then you got 250. Sorry, 410 times 0.3 plus 2050. I mean, it's just slightly slower, isn't it? Then at that point, it's not a real big nerf. It's just slightly slower. I think the biggest change is this. But I don't even think these nerfs are even worth looking at when this is here. Like, this is so big. It's a buff already at level 11. Like, what? His engages were already ridiculous. And they're just buffing it. Like, Rakan, baby, you already tier A, my dude. You going to tier S. You and my boy Alistar and Thresh. You all just tier S at this point, baby. Like, hello, hello, my dudes. You up there on tier S. Like, come on, that's a ridiculous buff. Holy shit, guys. 3 armor buff to Rengar. That's it, Rengar tier S. Let's tier Rengar. He's here, boys. No. I think it's a nice buff. Makes us early a bit better. Would you play Rengar into any of these junglers? Maybe, if you're max lore, bottom of tier B. I don't really see him getting higher than that. He's situational pick, could work, just not all the time. Ryze gets a small buff to his W. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he kind of loses out to most of these picks. He's decent into Lucian, actually. He's decent into LeBlanc. But I think Cassio, Orianna, Syndra, Corki are all just going to... No, actually, it's fine to Corki. I think that most of the mid laners up there are going to still kind of shit on him. So Ryze goes from tier garbage to maybe tier C. Maybe. Like, I don't think he's much better than that. Here's the moment we've all been waiting for. The Tristana nerfs. Woo! Her laning is going to be the same, it seems. The attack damage ratio is the same early, but it goes down as the time goes on. So this is a flat nerf to Tristana. She's still disgusting as a champion. She only really loses 0.2 to 0.5 of an AD ratio. So assuming that you're running, let's see, 300 bonus attack damage, I would say. Maybe, and then, so times 0.2, so you're losing 60 to 150 damage on your E. Where late game, your E isn't even your most damage, it's actually your autos. So, yeah, it's a nerf. I still think she's god tier. Might make Sivir great into her, but, yeah. Okay, Rumble's S tier. Rumble's S tier. No. 25 health reduced. I mean, it's okay, but the junglers that are going to want to build Cinderhulk are just going to want to build Cinderhulk the same. This doesn't really change it. This is big. This is big. This is really big, actually. This might make champions like Karma, Zyra a lot better. This is considerably strong. You're getting the CDR earlier, but it's going to stay the same. So this could be a big difference. Yeah, no, Ardent nerf. So they're splitting Gargoyle's Stoneblade's buff to half bonus and half base. The interaction this has is on the Cinderhulk, so you're not going to have like bullshit amounts of HP. I mean, this is still going to be kind of broken on show as a tank and on top lane tanks, but it's going to be much less effective on jungle tanks who are abusing the HP that they got from it for Cinderhulk. It's not a starting item; it's the upgraded item. You start at Spell Feast and you upgrade it to Frostfang for 500 gold. So yeah, it's a nice buff, actually. They reduced the gold by 100, but they reduced the health by 100. So Knight's Vow is still a great second item, but junglers are actually going to get so much less health. Now. So we'll have to see. The tank junglers are actually getting quite nerfed. Are they going to be completely out of the meta? Probably not. They're still kind of broken. We're just going to have to see at Worlds. I personally don't think it's going to change too much. And I think they've got a pretty good thing going on right there. Okay. Now let's review. Oh, that's not the right one. Keep turning the wrong stuff. Okay, let's review. Okay. Top lane, tier S, Narjarvan. Tier A, Renekton, Sho, Rumble, Maokai, Galio, Poppy, Trundle. Kled, Shen, Jace, Camille, Gragas, Nautilus, Riven, Aurelia, Jax, Sion, Fiora. As you go down the list, it's less about champions that are stronger blinds and they're more counterpick and situational. That's kind of what it means. Like, the champions that are good in almost every scenario versus the champions that are good counterpick. I mean, I think Elise is still S tier because the good teams that play Elise are still going to do good with her. But you need discipline in order to close games out with Elise, which not a lot of teams have. So I still think like the potential for Elise's strength is so high, but very few teams can actually reach that potential. Teams like RNG and Longzhu, off the top of my head, are the teams that probably reach that the best. Jarvan, Sejuani, Gragas, yeah. Rek'Sai, Nidalee, Ezreal, Maokai, Poppy, Rengar. You put Jax tier A. No. I would actually put Jax at the top of tier B. Because he's situational. But good that you reminded me of Jax. Thank you. Mid, I think Syndra's tier A, because the only real matchup that she really lost to was LeBlanc. Was Cassio. And now Cassio going Abyssal Mask is going to be a bit worse. So actually I think Orianna goes up as well. Because she's always been bullshit, and it's like the two champions that did good into Cassio. Now, but Galio does good into these both. But Galio doesn't do good into Cassio because Cassio doesn't have to go Abyssal Mask against him. Like, you guys understand? Like, the mid lane situation's so weird. Syndra, okay, let's go through this. Syndra does good into Orianna and Cassio, and does 50-50 against Lucian. It's also a skill matchup against LeBlanc. So as you can see, it actually has good matchups across the board here. Galio does good into Syndra. Orianna does good into Cassio now, in my opinion. 40-60 into LeBlanc and like 30-70 into Lucian. But it's just a consistent mid laner across the board. Now, Galio does good into Orianna and Syndra until that you push them in. Also does great into LeBlanc, but loses to Lucian and will lose to Cassio, which remains unchanged because now Cassio goes Roa, which means she gets her AP faster. Which means that the nerf doesn't affect her as much. It's a buff. So you have to think about it this way. Cassio has been buffed in matches that she goes AP in, but she's been nerfed in the matches that she goes Abyssal Mask in. Does that make sense to everybody? Like, if you guys don't understand it, I'll explain it again. Cassio with Abyssal Mask, nerfed until late game. Cassio with Roa, slight nerf into big buff. Next. Jace, Talia, Corki, Ezreal, Ahri. I think Ahri's going to come in. I actually think Ezreal mid can be good. I mean, I'm just kind of stupid about it, so maybe it's complete shit, but I think it's okay. We'll have to see it. AD carries, Tristana's S tier, still like the best late game, best safe, best sieger. The nerf was somewhat substantial. Again, you're losing like 60 to like maybe 100 damage. Actually, I did the calculations completely wrong. You're not even losing that much. 80 mid, by the way, sorry, because of the 80 buffs. I did the calculations completely wrong. I'm so stupid. Let's do those calculations again, actually. Holy cow. I'm so stupid. So, Tristana with 300 bonus AD. Let's actually find Tristana again. Well, I'm really sorry, guys. My math has been so shit. No, that's the wrong one. Calculator. Okay. So, let's say at rank 9, you're doing times 1.1. You were doing 330 damage with 300 bonus AD. This is 300 bonus AD. Whereas now you're doing... No. 300 times 1.1 is 630, actually, okay? Then 300 times 0.9 plus 300. So you're losing about 40 damage on on 60 damage, actually, if it's just one stack. Oh, just the bomb. And then on a 5 stack, it's 300 times 2.42 plus 300, which is 1,000 damage at 300 bonus attack damage. Whereas now it's 300 times 300 times 1.98 plus 300. So you're losing about 100 damage at 300 bonus AD. So in the late game, it is a nerf. But I think across the board, it's not too big of a nerf. So I think Tristana still deserves to be tier S. Kalista nerf, still tier A strong. Kalista's better than Xayah. Kalista's actually good into both Xayah and Sivir, which is why she's ahead of them. But I mean, Xayah and Sivir are still really good picks into Tristana, who's good into Kalista. Asher has Kog'Maw Twitch. I mean, the utility AD carries are always going to be good. They're good at laning, but they don't scale as well in terms of hyper carry status. And then you got the 2 hyper carries who don't do as well in lane. Funny thing is that Kog'Maw and Twitch both do good into Sivir. So Sivir's only a counter pick to Xayah and Trist. Then you got Jhin, that's one item Caitlyn, which is situational at best. Not horrible, but not great. Caitlyn, who I think is really bad unless you're using it for lane. Then Lucian and Corki, who aren't really played as much. Then Ornn is disabled, so we can remove him. Then we got Rakan, Alistar, Thresh. They're the best supports in the current meta. You can blind them any game. They don't have much counter picks. I would put actually Morgana tier A, just due to its counter pick nature. You got Tahm Kench, which is good into all the 3 best supports right there. Janna, which is good into Alistar. Morgana's good into most of them. Where the fuck is Jinx? Actually, you're right about Jinx. I would put her at top tier B. No, I don't think Vayne's gonna be played. Probably Uzi would play Vayne. I'd put him on C tier. I just don't think it's that strong. Could be really strong, but I don't see it. And then the rest. I think actually Braum could be bumped up a bit just because of what it does. The only reason I don't have Braum too high up is that it has no pressure as a roaming support. It's kind of useless when you roam with it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm happy with the tier list. I think we covered a lot of really important things. I'm going to upload this video onto YouTube. Thank you, chat, for being a wonderful guest. Yeah, Han Solo's still going to play Draven. Doesn't fucking matter. And I'm interested to see how these changes will impact Worlds. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. I will catch you guys another time. And, yeah, the VOD will be posted on YouTube. I'd really appreciate if you guys go and check that out. Give me some viewers. Subscribe if you like my YouTube channel. Yeah, and I will upload this on Reddit as well because I need views. I need some sweet YouTube money. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.